Hello everyone. In the previous video on leadership lessons, I outlined two questions on what office politics is it essential to be part of office politics to build a long-term career. In today's video, I'll address the final question on how did I navigate office politics and build my career over these 30 years. I was both fortunate in my career to have experienced office politics and unfortunate because I got to see the ugly side of it being played out. Now, this taught me some hard lessons that I learned from, and then tried to put in practice some tips during my career journey that helped me navigate the office politics with some degree of success, that I could continue to grow in my career as well as manage my stress levels. It's important to understand the formal versus the informal structure within your organization. The organization culture that exists, the kind of leader who manages the company determines a lot about what you're going to encounter as office politics. There is an unwritten informal network that drives office politics, which is different from the formal structure, and this is no different if you were doing a sell job to a client where the decision-making tree is not very clear. So your first goal is to find out about this informal structure and the people who have influence power within it. The next is building networks across the organization and not making friends with only those that matter. My ability to make friends cutting across the various levels in the organization always came in handy. The first people I was friends was always the administrative assistants in the office who knew how the informal structure worked, and very often they took me under their wings to give me a heads up on the behind the scenes navigation so I could avoid missteps. They were also at times protective of me, so managed some fires at their level even without it impacting me. The next is never speak ill of anyone in the office. This is important, and it speaks to your character, as this word will spread around and can be used against you by anyone, which is factually correct and can cause embarrassment and question your loyalty to the manager and or the company. The next, most people in organizations can be categorized as advocates, advisors, adversaries, or neutral. This will help you know who will speak up for you in your absence and who needs to be watched carefully while speaking to, so as not being misinterpreted. An advocate is someone who has influence power and will speak in your absence for you. An advisor is someone who can guide you through the organization politics but has no or very limited influencing power. Adversary and neutral, I think, are self-explanatory. The next is some co-workers eventually do become great friends. But don't look for friends in the office. Remember, they are first your co-workers. This is an office, and everyone is your co-worker and not your friend. So don't gossip or vent out in the office to your colleagues, but you can choose to do it with your friends outside of work, your spouse, or if you have a pet dog or cat, they're very patient listeners. The next is be nice and cordial to everyone, irrespective of what role level in the organization they are from. Whenever you meet, ask, what can I do for you or how can I help you? Prevent any blame game, as most people come to work to do their job and earn a decent living. Yes, there are a few rotten apples in every organization, and sooner or later they will be identified by all. Whenever I traveled to the corporate headquarters or the regional headquarters, I made it a point to call on all the relevant folks and schedule my breakfast, lunch, dinners, and free time, meeting a wide range of folks with whom I provided and received feedback both about my role and the region. This helped to minimize surprises later. I consciously kept the meeting climate positive and cordial. The next is focus on making your manager successful and always ask, what can I do to help you be successful? This attitude is well received, and if you have the bandwidth to extrapolate this to other functional counterparts, they become your advocates and help raise your visibility. Don't be naive that I will just do my job and the rest all good will happen automatically. And this is something I see a lot in Asian managers. And finally, assume positive intent of your co-workers versus assuming they are out to get you. This attitude helps you as you deal with situations versus starting to find fault. Collaborative working style is valued very much at the leadership level, as no one individual can get things done alone, but they need to work in teams. When we do succession planning, one of the questions we ask the broader group is how collaborative is this individual? Is he or she open to working with your team members? And they use authority, title, or influencing skills to get the job done. We always give more weightage when an indirect manager spoke very high of an employee versus the direct manager of the employee. I deliberately use the term navigating versus playing office politics. In order to be successful in any organization, it's important to understand that our ability to build and cultivate networks and social capital will go a long way in reducing the stress that comes with competing for more fame, glory, or recognition. Office politics must be seen as a selling role at times wherein you are trying to convince a person or persons about your viewpoint.